Well, it's all premium economy for me. Like, sorry, mate, you're too small to fit popcorn in your mouth. Birds ate me and my shit all over everything. No, he's horrifying. Nah, I love him.
Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Shad and Pete Save the World podcast, the podcast version of the live show that everyone already thought was a podcast. It's me, Pete, and I am just a little guy. And as you know, a little guy always has a big guy with him. Who's ready to meet my big guy? Who's ready to meet my big guy? Because I'm only small. You might have seen me strapped to his chest at the shops. It's my big boy, my big guy, Shad Wicker. Hello, mate.
Hello, Peter. I'm a big boy.
You're a big boy. You're the guest. You're not allowed to laugh yet. You have to pretend you don't exist. It's just me, the little guy, and my big special guy.
Welcome
Those
back.
are the only two people in the room right now. Me, the small one, and the big guy.
Welcome back to the podcast, of course, where we solve all of your leftover problems from our live shows. All of these are submitted by people who have been to the shows and the dregs that are left over, Pete. We are fresh off the back of our Sydney shows. Thank you to everyone that came.
Huge thank you to the Sydney audience. And I also want to say, on top of that, not only thanks for attending, but thank you, seriously, from the bottom of our heart, for booking so last minute, because I would have hated to just be relaxed for the weeks prior.
Yep.
It was the tension until the very last moment that I think spurred us forward into putting on a great performance. So thank you for the service you
That's
did
a very good point.
in not organising yourself until the literal last chance.
Yeah.
Big fucking crowd. So thank you for coming. Seriously, really do appreciate it. We'd love to be back in Sydney soon.
And yeah, for all our future audiences for Brisbane shows, dates will be up by the time this episode's out, I'm assuming, and some future shows. Take a leaf out of Sydney's book.
Don't get
Book
Brisbane.
in the
You're
last
always
24
booking
hours.
quick, and we're selling out early, and it's fucking annoying. I don't like it. I like to feel tense. I'm very excited for this week's episode, Shad, because as a little guy, as
Yes.
I previously mentioned on this episode, not many times does a little guy have an even littler guy.
Okay. What are we doing here?
So I'm our guest today.
Yeah.
I'm his big guy. Our guest today is one of the great people in the world. So awesome.
Yeah.
No, our guest today, maybe the most well-known comedian among well-known comedians. That's what I would say.
Interesting.
Our guest today is the wonderful Joe Waddington, who is sitting on this couch with me. Hello, Waddo.
Hello, guys. Thank you for having me.
Very excited to have you here. For the listeners, Joe Waddington is a big part of running Laughing Heart Comedy in Cairns.
Yeah, which is impressive because he's such a little person.
Well, the first couple of weeks were bad because we had no music because he couldn't reach the sound desk.
Yeah.
But once we built the little stool and he was able to get up there, the shows have been an absolute hit.
For anyone who's just listening to the audio and not watching any video right now, they would think that we are bullying a man who is, has dwarfism or something.
Yeah, absolutely. I've actually been embiggened for the for the video feed. It's pretty incredible these days.
We're pretty much implementing the same techniques they used to make Gandalf look massive. So to make us all look like we're on the same playing field.
And it's doing a hell of a lot for the confidence, honestly. I see myself in the screen. I'm like,
It
I'm one of the boys.
But Joe is obviously a fantastic comedian as well, but he runs one of the great nights of comedy in the country, Laughing Heart Comedy, and he's down here in the big smoke, Brisbane, which we don't get to see you down in the big cities because you're tethered. You're absolutely tethered to this show.
Mate, it's busy up there. I flew in from Cairns this morning, and I didn't tell you this, but I got upgraded to premium economy on the plane.
With extra leg room.
Yeah, what do you need that for?
Well, that's the thing. I'm like, I never.
What's premium economy for you? Middle.
Well, it's all premium economy for me. So I never asked for upgrades on the plane. Like if they offer an exit row, I'm like, no, give it to someone who needs it. But I checked in at the airport and I just got it. They didn't even say anything. I got on the plane and I'm like, looked at it, I'm like, oh, row 3. Great. Actually, that's pretty good.
My favourite row.
I got on the plane, but I was in the middle, right? And I get there and there's two boys already and they're big fellas. So they're like already overflowing into my seat. So I was like, this is no good.
You've somehow managed to have less space.
I get in, I squeeze in between them. They've already, you
Oh, you are middle seat?
I was middle seat.
Oh,
wow.
I
think it's common courtesy. It's like the middle person normally gets the armrests.
Both armrests, yeah.
And then, the other guy's got the aisle, the other guy's got the window, but they'd enveloped the armrests. But then I was like, they probably paid so much to be in a premium economy, and I've just been given it. And I'm a narrow bloke, so I was like, I'll just...
I'm a narrow bloke. It's just fucking unreal description.
That's
the narrowest man in comedy. Him and the mic stand competing for your attention.
Barely see me behind it. Sometimes, is he here yet?
That's one of the least confident things I've ever, self-describing words I've ever heard. I'm a pretty narrow sort of bloke.
I sit down, but it's like so I've got the leg room, that's fine, I don't need it. But then there's other big fellas getting on the plane, looking at me in premium economy when they need it.
Yeah.
And they're looking at me like, why is he
But it wouldn't have been comfortable
seat?
because premium economy is only comfortable if it's three big blokes, then it's as uncomfortable as...
I would argue that premium economy middle seat might be the worst seat on the plane. Because you got big fellas.
Oh, just because the assumption that the people are bigger.
Yeah, exactly.
The nature of it being big
They've
fellas,
looked for the big...
When I got to the airport, they weighed me instead of the bag. That's why they chose that seat for me.
Yeah, you're the carry-on limit for the bag.
But you know how heavy bags have a sticker that says heavy lift with your knees sort of thing? You've got a sticker that just says I wouldn't even worry about this one. Lift with your back. This little bloke's getting on the plane.
Yeah, go in, no technique, you're all right.
I would have been happier with middle seat, normal economy, because you get it maybe you do have a tray table in premium economy. I don't know. Does it come out of the armrest?
Oh yeah,
it does.
It doesn't.
Yeah.
But yeah, I can sleep on I can sleep on the tray table in normal economy.
On the tray table.
Yeah, get up. I roll a sleeping bag out on the tray table,
full stretch,
like a little gum nut baby.
Yeah. Pull a marshmallow out of your carry-on for a pillow.
Anyway, I'm a big
Does
bloke.
anyone have a roll-up? I'm freezing.
For those listening, I'm a massive big bloke, and that's all I'll hear about it.
He's massive. Our little
Only
bloke,
dogs heard you say that because your voice is so high-pitched because you're only a little guy. But thanks for making the time to be here, mate. I know you've had a pretty stressful last couple of weeks. You had to go to hospital because someone was peeling pistachios around you and you got crushed. But the rehab's going well.
Absolute cunts on this podcast. Yeah. Absolutely.
You and Stuart Little
I walk
sharing a hospital bed.
Yeah, what was it like watching that mouse get adopted above you?
No. I'm so grateful for my own family.
No, thank you very much for being in, Watto. I was trying to think, because you were sort of around when we started doing this show up in Cairns for the first time.
Yeah.
Have you been a guest on the show?
I've not been a guest. I've done tech for it once.
You got to do the ta-da.
I think before Jake was as integral to the show.
Yeah.
But I was doing the ta-das for a while.
And they were better back then. I always thought there was something about the way you used to do it.
Hit.
When you used to press spacebar, there was an immediacy to that. We've done it again,
right.
ta-da! But now there's there's a delay, and then there's always the phone call the next day, being like, "Did I fuck it up? Did I fuck it up?" Yes, but it's okay. We'll
I
get you back.
distinctly remember there was no apology from me, and then I did come to. I wasn't involved in the show, but I was backstage drinking beers at one in Cairns.
And that is part of the show, if anything. Yeah. Well, this podcast is really simple. We have the leftover problems from the shows. And usually it's a really big mixed bag of all different shows that I've just piled into a bag. But because we are fresh off our Sydney shows, all of the problems in today's show are from the Sydney Comedy Festival, Comedy Store show.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Because there was a lot of people there, very full bucket, and we didn't get to many really.
I think we only did 3 or 4. I actually feel like we got asked. Someone asked if we would take on any feedback, and I reckon it would have been not enough problems.
Yeah. Okay.
Because we only.
So what are you getting through 1% of the problems that you're getting handed?
But fuck all of the problems, and going through them, we missed some doozies.
But a thorough going through for the people that did get their problems called out.
Yeah.
But we've got so many to work with, really.
Yeah. So way it works, we just tell you what the problem is, mate. We try and
Right.
provide our expertise, and for those listening along, we have a 100% success rate guaranteed. We've never fucking failed.
Is the tada put in post?
It is put in post.
So you don't need a
bit of
tada
movie
guy.
magic for you there.
Okay.
It
Yeah,
does come
for the
in
people
post.
listening that aren't in the industry,
Yeah.
post just means after.
After.
We don't
It's-
we don't go to the
Yeah.
letterbox, put the little tada in the post
Oh, is that what?
box,
Okay.
Mail
and then
it
the little
through.
postman comes
Yeah.
and goes.
This
"Fuck."
episode didn't happen 3.5 weeks before. You
Yeah.
have to wait 5 to 10 business days for the tada to rock up.
Yeah, we solve a problem. You get
Yeah.
a text saying we tried to knock, but no one was
You
home.
got to go and pick up the
So then you
tada.
go to the post office.
Yeah. Or they've got the locker box now, which is a nice little touch. You get your little code. You put your code into the lockbox.
Yeah,
open
but I
the
always
door.
find
Ta-da!
that particularly embarrassing because you open it up
Yeah.
and then
And it's
everyone
gone.
looks over because
Ta-da!
it's
Yeah.
audio, and then
And
you
then you
don't
gotta
even
catch
have
it.
it. So it's like,
Yeah.
so that's not what it is.
All right.
What
Sorry,
it
I
is
brought it up.
just adding it in sort of
In
in an
audio.
editing
Mm.
process.
And if you're watching the video version, there's actually a little "we've done it again" or a "problem solved" graphic that comes
Oh,
up in the middle of
nice.
the screen as well, which I don't think Pete was aware of.
Did you not know
Well, I religiously watch them all.
that?
As soon as I finish them, I just watch it back and go, God, what a time I had an hour ago.
that? Yeah.
But no, you're incredible, and you can do that sort of thing. Where we
Thanks,
will
mate.
be here, so it's sort of like, you know how Kanye says the great tragedy of my life is I've never gotten to see myself perform.
Yeah.
It's a bit like that for us.
Yeah.
Where we don't get the ta-da here, but we do it for the people out there. Through this microphone, into the ether, they will hear it, and that's what it's all about. So just remember that. We're sort of like Ned Brockman, but for podcasts. It's not for us. We're hurting, man.
It's the least you can do, really.
It is the least we
quite
can do.
literally the
Yeah.
least. Copy and paste. It is. It really is. Anyway, enough of us talking about the fucking heroes that we are. Let's get into the problem.
Right.
First one to kick off the show. Peter, do you want to pick it? I feel like you know exactly which one we're going to go with first.
Well, so you sent this through to us just before we started.
Yes.
And it does feel like you've sort of targeted one of these for our guest.
Let's say I read one and I thought, wow, how
Yeah.
suitable for the guest that we have on today.
And we've just sent this to you in an email because we were worried that if we gave you a post-it note, it might be a bit hard for you to
Yeah,
hold
the
up.
wind
So
would pick up and I get taken across the city.
So you've probably been sent this on your little Barbie
Yeah.
phone.
You'd have to unfold a
And-
post-it note like a sheet.
Thanks for handing me this billboard, fellas. This problem says, I'm a shorter guy, bracket, don't make me stand up, bracket,
Mhm.
and I have a date at Luna Park. You're not a shorter guy, mate. You're a kid. I'm worried about what I should do if I'm too short for the rides.
It definitely does feel like a personal attack.
So why have you put that in? Who's that for? I can't relate. I'm a date at Luna
Oh.
Park.
And if you
What?
came to our show in Sydney and put that in the bucket, fuck, I'm so surprised you managed to get that high to put the problem in on stage.
I haven't been to a Luna Park,
Obviously.
an amusement park for so long.
Yeah, because you've got to be a certain height to get into the fucking place.
Get through the gate. They won't even let you through the gate. It's like, sorry, mate, you're too small to fit popcorn in your mouth. We can't get you in here. But how low is it? Like, that's low.
Well,
Yeah.
like not being able to ride is like child's height.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you are child's height, then do you actually
So-
does this
yeah,
person
so-
actually have dwarfism?
In which case,
I
we're not
think-
going to change our scope of bullying.
Yeah.
Yeah, but well, that's like the date. She knows.
Hmm.
She might have noticed.
That's
by
what
now
I was thinking.
that you're
Right?
a
It's
little
like,
bloke.
are you are you keeping her fooled at the moment? It's
Yeah.
like, is it one of those things where a lot of my mates are like out dating at the moment? They're always like, guy said he was a certain height, did the date, he's not actually that tall.
Mm.
I mean,
Well,
if
maybe
you're,
this is
He's just
maybe
always-
it's the lady's suggestion, because that's a great way to be like, you know how you see, and this is like a sexist trope, but it was like, you take a girl on a first date swimming,
Hmm.
then it's like, she can't be as made up. You get to see the real her. That's like an old thing that used to be said. So maybe this
Right.
is like the female equivalent of like, oh, Tinder says he's 6 foot. You want to go to Luna Park?
Yeah.
That is.
Oh. I don't know.
I'm a bit scared of clowns.
But maybe that's like, it seems like it could have been the
Yeah.
lady's idea to be
It-
like, oh, you reckon?
maybe they've not met. yet. It's a first date.
Yeah, I feel like
Sight
that's the
unseen.
vibe.
Oh, okay.
I have a date at Luna Park. I'm worried about what I should do if I'm too short for the rides.
Yeah, but like, I mean, if they had a date at a cafe, what's he going to stand on a box behind stuff for the whole day? Like, she's gonna know.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think it's him not being able to go on the Dodgem cars that is gonna do it. Like, oh shit, I didn't notice.
Yeah.
He's actually
man.
very
Sorry,
tiny.
I just had the saddest image of him getting on the one ride he can get on is the Dodgem cars, but he can't reach the pedals.
He's just stationary in the middle of the arena for the entire time while everyone's having fun. Just getting pushed around by all the bigger boys.
They say the Dodgem cars is the Economy X of Luna Park.
Oh, so much leg room down there.
Just sit in the middle and wait for the big boys to squish you around. But it is pretty funny, the thought of this guy turning up and just being like, fuck, we should do the teacups again. That was sick.
You know what?
Yeah.
I feel like, you know what you could do at Luna Park is like, if you want to get around it, you can maybe concede to the idea, maybe it'll play on the idea of being vulnerable, where it's like, you go, oh, I don't really want to go on any of the, because it's just roller coasters essentially that you can't get on.
Yeah.
So it's like, you kind of go, look, it's a bit embarrassing to say this, and this is assuming she hasn't already seen you and been like, this cunt's too short.
Yeah.
But if you feel like you're still getting away, you got your little spaces or something in your shoe that prop you up a little bit, you know what I'm talking about, and like, you got your little cons, those cons with the gigantic bottom.
Yep.
Yeah, you got those on, and instead what you do is just keep the entire date at Luna Park in front of those crazy mirrors.
Oh,
clever.
And just keep being like, wow, this mirror's normal. Mine's not working. It's just you stretched up.
Look how little it makes me
Gigantic. You
That's
put her in
funny.
front of the shorter one.
Yeah.
That's how
Yeah.
you get your photos together.
yeah.
What about as soon as he gets to Luna Park, straight for a huge milkshake? Just get a massive milkshake, drink the whole thing,
Yeah.
and then for the rest of the day, I can't go on my tummy.
Right.
Oh,
My
that
tummy's
is
too full of
good.
milk.
That's not bad. The issue with getting a huge milkshake is you're immediately going to look really
Oh,
tiny
yeah,
compared
yeah.
to the milkshake.
That's right. You've got
Yeah,
a point of
you've
scale,
got
a point of reference.
Mate, you've got to try and move this date needs to move away from Luna Park. You need to move to like mini golf.
Yeah,
Something like
great.
that. Something where there's a lot of perspective tricks, like
Oh,
tricks.
yeah.
Yes.
Where you can kind of look a bit taller around, like things that look, go to like, if there's like a Lego, like there's like one of those Lego displays on at the powerhouse, something like that. Go, why don't you check out this?
Yep.
This is pretty cool. I mean, she's obviously going to immediately get red flags, you being like, come and look at Lego. But
Yeah.
Or I don't know.
book a table at a kindergarten. Be like, look at all these little blokes. I'm way bigger than them.
Go to a petting zoo. Yeah, I love that idea. That's
Having some Kraft mac and cheese in the middle of a kindergarten on your first date, being like, fucking hell, do you feel bigger? I feel tall. Like, I'm big.
I've got to say that, like, that's my solution for this problem. But at the same time, for the female listeners who have had this issue with guys rocking up that are a bit too, like, short compared to what their profile is.
Sort of narrow blokes.
Yeah, these narrow. If you got a lot of narrow blokes.
narrow is different to short.
Narrow is
by
a
the
bit
way.
different
Sorry,
to short.
my
You are
bad.
right. Yeah,
I'm still getting used to the crazy way we talk nowadays,
Yeah.
man.
Can't even call it like narrow anymore. All I'm into is narrow blokes and wide Sheilas. But what a good solution for women that are out in the dating world to book your first date to find out at fucking Luna Park.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
I think
way.
that's more. We've solved it.
We've
We've
solved
solved a
it.
different problem. That,
Yeah, definitely.
yeah. I think we've
think-
done it again.
Yeah, we've done it again.
And so that we've not heard that.
Bit
If you're
on-
at home,
Yeah.
you've heard that. We've not. All right, next problem. Here we go. Birds keep flying into my apartment. Tell me about it. Relatable.
Well done.
Finally, this one you put in for me, I'll birds keep flying into my apartment and shitting every. Oh, that's
Finish.
not.
Yeah,
I should have
finish
finished it.
reading
I should have finished reading it. Keep taking Sheila's home, and they shit in my house. No, birds keep flying into my apartment and shitting everywhere. Help!
Boom.
What? Do you live in a tree house? Shut the fucking window. What? What kind of problem is that?
It's amazing, like the sort of inability to solve quite simple things our audience seems.
Yeah.
Because there is a very straightforward. Unless you are living in a treehouse, you can just shut the window.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
But
mean,
let's just go.
Let's be under the assumption that
extend the olive branch.
yeah,
No ceiling fans, no air conditioning.
that's what I'm thinking. There's an issue. I've got to have these open, and I'm like, it's ruining my life.
And to continue extending an olive branch, let's imagine all of the furniture is made of bread.
Actually, let's assume this is a problem put in by the gingerbread man who lives in a gingerbread house.
Birds ate my house.
Birds ate me and my house. This is just my handwriting.
Yeah, obviously close a window, but we'll assume that is not a possibility, and you have to have these open to keep the room. Like, I'm imagining it's because they're at the house. You're letting the air in. You're having a good time. Bang! These birds keep coming in. As soon as the opportunity arises, they're flying into your room.
And what would you think? Little pigeon?
I'm assuming it's pidge. Sounds like pigeon behaviour.
If it's happening a lot, yeah. I mean, it could be pigeon.
As far as like human-animal relationships go, the bird and people have quite a turbulent.
It's complex.
Where you think of how easy it is to just at least sort of get a message across to a cat or a dog. But birds, it seems to be universally across the board.
Yeah, anger's really easily interpreted by a cat. Get out of here. They're like, I better get out of here. Whereas a bird's like, what? What? What do you mean? What?
But it's so hard to, like, if you're a chicken and you had an understanding of the world, I understand your stress. Mm-hmm. But all the other birds, I couldn't give a fuck about you.
Yeah.
Like, you ever walk past like a curlew or something and they're like, screaming or the fucking what are the ones that swoop and they try
actually I love this because you never encountered a swooping magpie until you visited me in Brisbane years ago and you got tormented by one around the corner of my house
and now I had a full one.
I actually do remember this. You were genuinely very scared.
Yeah, well, I had to call you on the walk home to have a little chat to someone. But it's like a magpie, for instance. When in human history has a magpie egg been put on toast? We've never eaten one. We've never. What are you guys saying to each other where you go, these fucking human cunts, they're always coming over and scrambling our eggs and eating it and putting it with avocado. Now, I don't even know what they look like. I've never seen one. But you're fucking having a go
so
at
good
me.
at defending the nest.
Yeah, I know. But it's like, I don't understand why these birds...
Well, maybe that's why we haven't, though. You know what I mean? That's why we don't scramble their eggs. They've been doing it for longer than recorded human history.
Longer than we can remember the first time we ate one.
They would have been like, how good is this magpie eggs are really good.
Holy shit, that tasted good.
People keep eating these ostrich eggs and thinking these are fucking awesome. You know, those giant ones. Like, these things are great. And the ostrich also does, they're not very fond of people either. They're the ones that are same with the emus.
Yeah.
They'll try and fuck you up. But the magpie's seen what happens there, and they've gone, ain't no way you're getting around these precious things. Last time the person had it, they were just like, these are fucking sick.
Easier to get the land bird eggs.
Yeah, true.
Because, you know, I don't care how fast you are.
Yeah.
You're over there. I'm taking your eggs. Flying bird, I've got a matter of seconds to get these eggs.
Yeah, that's right. Like an emu, you can pull your car up right up next to the nest, you know?
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Put them straight in the boot.
Yeah, very true.
Out of there.
And then they're too busy running around having their schizophrenic moment because they look like the most schizophrenic bird. Like their hair's falling out of their head, they're fucking freaking out. You know, it's not like when you see an emu, they're just like, ah! Like they look like the full meth head running around.
Especially, the shots, like nature shots, and it's like directly front onto the emu. Yeah. Two beady orange eyes. They're mental looking bird.
But you know what? It's because of the war. They've still got echoes from the Great Emu War. They're numb. They've still got memories. They've got a reason to hate us. I'm surprised they're not more on board.
They're shell shocked.
Yeah. I hate my brain when you said they're numb. My thought was a bird going, and then I thought, how do I put this in? And I thought there isn't any way except saying that wouldn't that have been awful?
Yeah.
So birds keep flying into my apartment. We're presuming little pidgeys or those sort of things, not the walking ones. That'd be a real mess.
They're not coming through the window. They're letting themselves in.
Emu in the lounge room. Fuck. Awful.
Yeah. And they keep shitting everywhere. So
a mate of mine was telling me ages ago, he was living in Sydney at the time and he went away for like 2 weeks and he had a house sitter. And he came back and he opened the door and the entire house was like, there was newspaper covering every surface in the house. And it was like open plan sort of thing. Bedroom doors were shut. But there was a newspaper covering every surface of the house. There was a note from the house sitter saying, hey, really sorry. A pigeon got in the house and we couldn't get it out, so we just covered everything with newspaper.
So they don't know where it is.
It was just in the house.
So
He
they
said he
still
walked
left.
in.
So they still left.
They
the
just
house
left. They
being
couldn't.
like-
Yeah, they just left. They covered everything and they just left the pigeon in the house. And he said by the time he got back, the pigeon had been in there like a day and it was still in panic mode, like it had got in there 5 minutes ago. So it was just like tearing around the house, shit all over everything. And he said he just opened up all the doors and got it out in like 5 minutes. But it's like, I mean,
Yeah, surely the amount of time it would take to put newspaper on everything is about the amount of time.
just shoo it
Yeah.
out the door.
Yeah.
But I mean, newspaper covering every surface, it is a solution to the shitting problem.
It's certainly a solution. I would say as well, maybe like all white furniture could be an option.
Oh yeah, all white.
All white furniture.
Let's get this thing all white for the
You
the
don't
pups.
notice it.
Oh yeah, but they got a little black bit in the middle, don't they?
Yeah.
Oh, that's
So a
right.
bit of speckled cow patch tile.
Polished concrete floors.
No
can
solution
kinda
of stopping
burn
him from
things.
getting in. We're just like, live with it.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, yeah,
But
yeah.
you're one with the birds now.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, you know what you need to do? You need to get a bigger bird to move in to scare real cane toad solution type
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Well, yeah, you could get
Yeah,
it. Like,
Get a cat.
calling
Yeah.
Sesame Street like, hey guys, is that big yellow cunt still working?
like getting a.
Does he want free board?
Definitely a bird of prey, like a pet owl.
Yeah.
Those little birds, they hate owls.
Yeah, get an
And
owl.
having a pet owl would be pretty sick.
It would be sick.
Or even a
Get a cat.
scarecrow. If
Put a
you don't want to have
scarecrow
bird,
up in
having
the
a
lounge room.
scarecrow,
Right, that's not
bit of a statement piece.
Yeah,
Dress it up, different little outfits for different seasons.
I like that. We used to have a similar thing like that. His name was Richie. He was one of those crying dolls, and we used to just prop him up in
Oh,
different
is
places.
that the ones that sit with their
Yeah,
face
yeah.
facing the wall? Oh,
So we used to, but you could move his arms around, so we just have him sitting around the place. all
What
over
is
the
it?
house.
Sorry?
They look like grandmas love them.
yeah. I feel like it was a '90s, mid-'90s.
I don't know what the vibe is of
thing.
why they existed, but they look like little crying boys in the corner, and they got little
They're
different
normally
outfits
wearing
on.
like a little backwards hat.
Yeah, and they're just leaning up against the wall like this.
You're so confused.
That sounds terrible.
Yeah,
Yeah, they were. They were pretty bad.
Yeah, they're pretty weird. But we found one at a garage sale or some shit, and he was wearing a top hat and a little like 3-piece suit, and we called him Richie. And we used to take him to parties. And they used to like our mates DJ and stuff, and he'd have pictures of Richie just DJing and stuff with a little top hat
That's
on.
pretty funny.
Did he have a face?
No, he had no face.
No face,
Which
yeah,
is good,
I
'cause,
feel
you
like-
could just imagine what he's thinking yourself. You don't have
Yeah.
to feel attached.
I
Yeah.
think that's why they were always facing the corner, wasn't it?
You've got
Yeah.
a great little thing at home, Gentle Norman.
Oh, Gentle Norman, yeah. It's have you seen this? Oh, you might not have been. You might not have seen it. When I was down.
I go
in-
for heaps of sleepover, so I've seen it.
Yeah, it's a. I went down to Victoria. This was a few years ago, and friends of mine were like bought a house, and I went to the antique store to get them a housewarming present, and I found this it's a little white monkey. It's probably 10 centimeters, 15 centimeters high, and it's definitely
Fuck,
made out
you
of.
brought home a little bloke that's twice as big as you.
Yeah, I had to get.
How'd you get it home?
I had to get help getting him in the car.
strapped him to the roof.
Yeah, in my tiny little Tonka truck in the back.
Yeah,
I
anyway.
just tipped him out at home. But no, it's made out of I guess it feels like real fur, and it does shed quite a lot of fur. And it's got wire arms with fur on them and wire legs and a wire tail, and then a plaster face that's glued on and painted, but all the paint has worn off its lips.
It's truly horrifying.
And I gave it to my friends as a housewarming gift, and we named it Gentle Norman.
Gentle.
And then they went travelling, and they're like, "Can you please take Gentle Norman?" And then I took him back up to Cairns with me, so he lives at my house now.
And he's never in the spot you left him.
No,
always
he's
walking
horrifying. Nah, I love him.
Well, there you go. Get a gentle Norman.
Get yourself a little Gentle
Get a
Norman.
Gentle Norman.
That'll stop them birds from coming in there. But both kinds of birds, actually. I feel like.
Yeah.
We've done it again. Next problem. What do you got? Something there? Should we go?
Yeah, I'll do one here. I'll do this one because this one I put in because it was my favourite problem from the actual show, and I thought with Joe, those that have seen Joe do stand up, very funny bloke, but also you have a very interesting take on a lot of things. I thought it'd be interesting to see what your view and our podcast listeners' view was on this problem, if it is a shared one, because since our Sydney show, people have reached out to me about this problem from the show,
Okay.
saying that
Right.
they had their own solutions to this problem
I'm trying to think of what this
as
is
opposed to
you're
what
about
mine
to say.
was. So the problem from the show was
Immigrants should not.
there is actually a visa-inspired problem in this as well later. When the second piece of toast goes cold whilst I'm buttering the first one, then the butter doesn't melt on the second piece of toast.
I do remember this.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, don't you just like dish out 2 little pieces of butter onto each piece of toast, and then you spread the first one while the second one melts on the toast?
That seems far more logical.
I didn't mention during the show, but where you get the big knob of butter, put it in, and then put the other toast on top. So it's like bread, knob of butter, bread, and then the heat in the interior heat.
You made a little toast oven.
Yeah, the interior heat of the 2 slices of toast around the butter melts the butter really quickly, and it's getting on both bits of bread. I'm hearing how boring I'm sounding.
Yeah. No, I feel like... Yeah, it's interesting that you gave such a lead up to this problem. Because I'm just thinking of my personal tactic, which I'm realizing now is what I'll do is put the toast on and then put the kettle on, and then I take the block of butter and I sit it next to the kettle.
You're right. He did have an interesting...
I told you, I knew
you do have a unique little...
But I've not really thought of it. But yeah, again, it's like...
It's amazing that a brain that size would be able to come up with so many incredible ideas.
I knew you'd have your own method. Because my suggestion was, as you're doing one piece of toast, put that other piece of toast on top of the toaster, which is still warm.
Well,
keeps the toast warm.
There's lots of different ways to do it. I can't believe this guy's...
There's a lot of ways to butter a piece of toast.
Exactly.
As the famous saying goes.
Yeah.
But I am a huge fan of the melting the butter with the kettle.
Yeah, great stuff.
Yeah. I'm not sure that it was that effective, but it's what I do, so it must work to some degree.
There you go. I feel like everyone had an opinion on this after our show, but there you go. We've now got one of those.
Pretty dicey stuff always coming out of the bucket, but it is always the things that are seemingly so innocuous that get the most messages. People being like, that's toast thing that happened. I can't believe.
Yeah. I can't believe that guy's having trouble with the 2 pieces of toast. You do it this way. One of the methods was your knob suggested one was one. Mm-hmm. Someone said that. Another one was toast one, which I thought was ludicrous. They're like, just start toasting one piece of toast at a time.
Oh, man, that's absurd.
They'll like put one toast in, and then as you're buttering the other one,
must be nice to have rich parents.
Wait till this
you use the same toaster.
No, but I'm just saying to be like have that much free time that you can just be fucking.
Yeah. Also, twice as much energy expended cooking one piece of toast. Wait till this guy hears about 4 sliced toasters. What the fuck?
Oh, mate, he'll be in trouble all day. He's in there all day.
Like, the fourth bit of Arctic bread. No, thank you.
He's having the 4th piece of toast for smoke out.
Yeah, imagine how long it takes this guy to wipe his own fucking ass.
But it is so funny of how much traction this got amongst, because like the first problem that came out in Sydney was about this woman that was having an affair with a married man at work. Not a message.
No.
Yeah.
Not a message after the show. People being like, yeah, well...
No, they're like, butter cunt. Let me tell you about butter cunt.
Yeah.
Well, there's some things that are relatable, and then there's some things that are relatable, but you're not allowed to say they're relatable. So that's why the affair didn't really come up.
Yeah, right. Revealing a bit about yourself there, mate.
But I think that's it. The kettle solution. We've done it again.
All right.
Here we go. How about this one? I want a legacy... Despite... How about this? I don't know where this is going, but it's a fucking gripping opening. I want a legacy despite not having an inclination for children or any super genius abilities or real skills.
All right. So I want a legacy, but I offer nothing to the world.
Yeah, I don't want to procreate.
Right.
And I don't want to learn anything.
I mean, my immediate mind goes back to an episode last week or the week before, depending on when this came out, our episode with Alex Milinkovic, where we were talking about serial killers and the effective ways to be a serial killer. If you're not good at anything, you can't invent something, you're not going to have kids. The only way to have a legacy is to be a part of a true crime podcast. That's the only last thing.
But you got to put up some numbers.
Yeah, you got to put up some numbers, or it has to be especially heinous, like is it the Menendez guys or whatever that are on Netflix at the moment that, like, I don't know, hooked up with each other and killed their parents or some shit? You got to be something like that.
But then that
kind of level of fucked.
I mean, that does require some skill as well, right?
Yeah. Oh, well, that's true. Yeah.
This guy doesn't have that.
Yeah. Well, maybe having legacy for the dumbest death. Those are pretty good. You see the Darwin Awards?
I'm presuming it's...
Dumb ways to die.
Dumb ways to die, sort of...
essentially, yeah. The dumbest
natural
ways to
selection at play.
Yeah. So I'm just trying to find...
So you're using this list as a list of options for this guy?
Poor bastard died trying to butter his second piece of toast. in a real hurry.
Trying to butter the toast while it was in the toaster.
Trying to keep it warm, yeah.
I mean, what's the minimum requirement for a legacy? I think statue is higher than the minimum requirement, right? Like maybe a plaque on a park bench.
Yeah, that's the best you can
Might
hope
be
for.
the minimum.
And because you can get that for being really good with the Rotary or something. You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
like-
Just
I've actually got a
bowling club.
bit of beef with the park. I feel like, I don't know if this is too like nasty to say, or maybe like a pessimistic view of the world, but I think too many people are being remembered. Like, I feel like there isn't a public park
Okay.
in the world now that doesn't have a commemorative bench with a plaque on it. But
Yeah.
I would hate to have lived a life that feels like an appropriate. Either forget me or do something special, but
Yeah.
don't put me on a bench, because a park bench with a plaque on it,
Yeah.
just all it says about the person was they were kind of pleasant and they lived around here.
Yeah.
And that's all it is. Like, there's
Yeah.
one at the golf course I play at, because I'm fucking a cool sort of bloke, so I play there. And there's a park bench, and it's like, she's not even dead, I don't think, but it's like, it's like on the 10th, it's like teeing off at the 10th, and there's a park bench with a plaque, and it's like Denise something, and she's got a plaque, and it's like supporter of women's golf. I'm like, of course she is. It's Denise. Why wouldn't Denise?
Yeah.
Be an avid supporter of women's golf.
Yeah,
if she's playing
woman.
It'd be so strange to not actively not support women's golf and play golf.
Yeah, like she tees off and goes, fuck, you'll never hit it as far as the blokes. Just like a real sexist pig. It's like, of course she does. What has she done?
Yeah,
She's
but
a
maybe
woman that
she was
plays
the
golf
first-
that supports women's golf.
Maybe she was the first one to play at that golf course.
I don't know, man, but I just feel like it's not even that. Even if it is that. What's that? What have you done?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's nothing about like, oh, she's a financially supporter. It's just like,
You know what? I've if anyone's listening that has a park bench, a bench on a location
Oh, they're dead. It's okay.
of our listeners somewhere that's around, can I put a plaque on it for Peter James?
Oh,
That's gonna be my
you
call
want
out.
you want to spare
You are,
bench.
yeah, you are so.
yeah,
out of,
it's plaque on the bench and it
against
says, Peter
hates
James,
benches.
huge supporter of the Shad and Pete Save the World podcast.
Yeah.
Obviously,
yeah,
he's
yeah.
the Pete in it.
I want to get you a bench. I want to get you a plaque, and that'll be the plaque. Huge supporter of the Shadow
I think
Pit Save the World podcast.
It's so
I'd love
easy
a
to get
plaque. Go on.
Yeah.
Money where your mouth is.
All you got to do to get a park bench is go there every day and feed pigeons.
That's true.
That's it.
Yeah. For this person that like is fearing of not having a legacy,
I think that's probably the
you don't need a
easiest.
legacy. You just need to hang around. Like, because that's the same with bowling clubs and golf clubs. You just have to be around long enough to get it. Just be around long
Yeah.
enough and not a gigantic pain in the ass. If you're a barfly long enough,
Yeah,
They'll name
even the
something
pain in
after
the
you.
ass.
You'll
ones
get a
it, I
little
feel
picture
like.
on the
Yeah.
wall.
yeah, get your picture. If you're good enough at golf, which Pete never will be, but you might get your name up on a plaque in the
Nasty
actual
bloke.
golf club. That's like,
I'm
you know,
walking
look
out
at how
of
good
here.
it
Fuck
was.
this. No, fuck you guys. No, I come here, bust my ass. Imagine if that was the big thing. Like all of the shit we've said to each other over the years, but you just say you're probably not going to be a professional golfer. And I go, fuck this thing. Fuck the last 5 years, cunt. I'm out.
And little people know that that's
now
how
you can put the
that's actually how
plaque.
Little Dum Dum ended. Kyle Chandler kept making fun of Daslo's
Golf.
Yeah, I feel like you just need to hang around somewhere long enough. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
To have your lasting legacy.
Quantity, not quality.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
because you want
Yeah.
park bench. You want bench as much as Pete hates bench. Bench is for close to life. But finishing the fucking Mother Clucker burger at the old Bathurst fish and chip shop, that's only got you until that place shuts down when the next COVID happens.
That's a real thing that you've just referenced there, isn't it?
100%, dude. The Mother Clucker, pretty good.
Did you have a crack at it?
I had a crack at it.
Did you finish it?
I finished it, but not in enough time to get up on the wall, which is the
Oh,
most
yeah,
disappointing thing.
yeah.
Because you've
So now
completely
you just feel like
sacrificed your
shit
body.
and you paid for it.
Shadwicker, fat and forgettable.
Put that on a park bench. We've got this reinforced
That
park bench.
I would like. That I would like. I want
This concrete park bench.
is for the most fat, forgettable cunt you've ever met. We actually ordered the plaque. Can't remember his name, so it's just got a blank space.
Fat and forgettable.
Fat and forgettable.
Still a
All right,
legacy,
that's what we
though.
want. If
It
you've got
is.
anything we can put a plaque on, I want to put Peter James fat and forgettable on something, a tree, anything.
What's that like defensive furniture that they make in like Melbourne, especially so that homeless people can't sleep on it?
Yeah,
I want
with
to
the
plaque on
spikes.
one of them to be like, find another bench, brother.
Yeah, Peter James
Peter
hated
James.
the homeless.
Peter James bracket had a house that he lived in bracket.
I think that's it. You've got to hang around somewhere long enough, brother. You're not gonna. Well, yeah, if you think you can hang around somewhere long enough and people enjoy your company enough, then yeah, you can have your name.
You might
put
get
on that
yourself a
bench.
little plaque at Laughing Out Comedy Water. You're there a fair bit every Monday night. Wouldn't it
That'd
be
be
nice to have a
nice.
big
Yeah, what are they
water
going to put it on? They put it on the sound desk, and
Yeah,
then
put it on a coaster.
when I leave, put it on a coaster and it just gets thrown in the bin at the end of the night.
Just quickly, the Darwin Awards. I just wanted to bring this
Oh,
up
yeah.
because I was trying to find out. In 2006, one of the winners was a guy called Darren, 33-year-old man who was found slumped in the hallway of his house, bleeding from stab wounds. Was he attacked? No. A year later, an inquest found that Darren didn't take his own life. In fact, the last thing his partner remembered him saying to her was him wondering out loud of whether his jacket was stab-proof.
Like multiple stab wounds?
You never feel the first one.
lads.
It's like the clip from the Chopper, Eric Banner's Chopper movie where he gets stabbed in prison. He goes, a bit early for Kung Fu, mate, because he doesn't realise he's been stabbed. This guy stabs himself. He's like, it is. Gives himself another go. God, that is... I didn't think they were that
And
good.
it would have been
that's
like, I'll
good.
tell you what it would have been. I in my head, I can picture it. You know how like you can always see like fucking like fighter pilot jackets for sale at places?
Yeah.
You know, you see like the fuzzy neck and it's got like
Oh,
all the
yeah,
badges
yeah.
on it. It's like leather, and he would have spent this thing, and he's like, "Fuck, this would have been in, like the Navy and shit." Eh? Like, this would be stab proof. He's got his nice cool jacket on.
Say he had a girlfriend, right?
Yeah.
If she stabbed him, and then he was so dumb that
Yeah.
her excuse could be, he just wondered if his jacket was stab-proof,
Yeah.
and they believed her. That's
Yeah.
a dumb guy.
I tell you what's awesome is like, because you say multiple, it was definitely one, and she probably got home. It's like, it's fucking cunt. It's added one.
Yeah, Oscar Pistorius' girlfriend was trying to figure out if the bathroom door was bulletproof.
Yeah, he's like, I'm just testing.
She was like, I think the toilet probably you couldn't shoot a bullet in. He's like, you can try it. I'm not going. I'm over here resting my fucking thighs, mate. I got my thighs up. I'm chilling. I'm relaxing.
Oh, dear.
Oh, fuck. Anyway, we've done it again.
Goodness me. Well, I reckon we're well on our way towards the end of this podcast, I think.
All right,
There's
last
a couple
problem.
of little problems. We could probably go through one more, I reckon.
Easy. Okay, how about this? Another apartment issue.
Mm-hmm.
The guy in the apartment above me keeps emptying his vacuum off the balcony, and it wafts into my apartment. I'd assume onto the apartment as well, for the sake of not being shut the doors.
This lives in the same treehouse apartment block.
Yeah, yes. So what you should do is you should start putting some seed on his apartment. Start attracting some birds in there. Yeah, so that's the issue. I feel like this person knows what they're doing. You've got an issue
Yeah.
with the person upstairs.
That seems... That does
Because
seem
this seems
intentional.
targeted in the apartment. Because I know that...
Why would anyone be
Yeah.
naturally emptying a vacuum out
Dead
of the
set.
window?
Apartments have chutes and shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's easy.
Bins exist.
Yeah, this person fucking hates you, dude. I'm sorry to reveal this to you, but the person that lives above you fucking hates your guts. And it might be because you're smoking cones or something on the balcony and it's coming upstairs. Could be some kind of vibe. I'm just assuming because you're our audience. But I will say this, because Sydney neighbours are cunts. When I lived in this place with my mates, we lived in a terrace house and there was houses on either side of us. And it was in our 20s and we'd party a lot and carry on. But we thought we had a pretty good relationship with our neighbours because we never got a noise complaint to the real estate agent. There was no issues. We'd see them, they'd wave. It was all kind of nice. We're fuck, we get away with murder for this joint. Until one day, my mate Coops came home and she was like, "Oh, I haven't checked the mail in ages." and she opened up our mailbox and it was filled with dog shit bags.
Wow.
So our neighbours.
This is the neighbour with the dog.
This would have been the street, I reckon, as well. Like hating our behaviour. It's just the most. You have to respect it. The most passive aggressive. We're never going to know who it was.
Was this
Fuck you. Just putting, and there was a lot.
Yeah, great.
Would have been like 10 odd, I think.
Was this a town? This is a townhouse.
Yeah, like a
type
terrace. There was like
situation?
four
It's
terraces.
amazing you can go that long without checking the mail.
Yeah, we're in our 20s. I don't care about bills, whatever.
Yeah.
Like, who's
That's
checking
so
the mail
funny.
now?
Yeah, the postie every day probably rides fast. He's like,
Well,
"They haven't
actually, you
found
know
it yet."
what? Probably why we
Edit
didn't
that
check
in
the
post,
mail. Probably why, now that I think of it, that we wouldn't have noticed is that the postie would just kind of throw your mail
Yeah.
like onto the step, like it'd just be mail on the step. So
Yeah.
he's probably become aware as well of the situation.
Oh, and you're thinking
Ah,
in
right.
your glass half full view of the
He's just
world,
chucking 'em
the
in
postie's
there.
like, God,
Doing
we
you a
live in such a
favour."
wonderful community where the postie,
Yeah.
like it's a fucking 1950s movie, throws you the newspaper,
Yeah.
read all about it,
Yeah.
and you're like, well, I love this suburb, man.
Oh,
Everyone's
yeah.
so
Neighbours
love me.
connected.
Yeah, and I kept drinking those bottles of milk people would leave on the doorstep as well. I thought they tasted weird.
That's
yeah,
very
so
funny.
that's what they used to do to us. So, I mean, I wouldn't put it past your neighbour upstairs absolutely hating your guts
Yeah.
and just wanting to fuck
Have
you up.
you? I don't condone this person doing this because they're probably a bit of a cunt. But have you heard about? I don't know where I heard this, but have you heard about the piss plate? But you put this is pretty gross, but you piss on a plate.
Yeah, I
And then-
gathered that part. So you probably could have skipped to the next step.
And then you freeze it into a disc, and then you slide it under the door.
Oh, that's funny.
Oh, fuck.
That's awesome. That's good.
I mean, I don't think because the person.
Because then it'll melt and then
It
you
melt,
can't move the
yeah.
plate without fucking hell.
Yeah, so the plate. No. You
No,
don't,
well, you take the
it
piss off
plate.
the plate.
You throw
Oh.
just the piss frisbee under the door.
Piss frisbee, yeah. So you fucking get the piss.
That's a better name.
Yeah, I much
Yeah,
prefer
yeah,
piss
yeah.
frisbee.
What a
One layer of
vindictive.
piss.
How do you know about that?
Oh, I would have read about it somewhere. Anarchist cookbook or something like that.
Today's recipe. We're going to do the piss plate. That's oh man, you want to talk about something
Piss
that's
plate and
fucked?
shit chips.
I remember one of my ex-girlfriends, her brother was in the Air Force, and he told me this story about how they were at a house party and they scooped out the ice cream. Someone did a shit in the ice cream tub and put the ice cream back on.
Put the ice cream back over the top of the shit.
Yeah.
Oh, Neapolitan.
Well, wasn't there?
With strawberry and vanilla at the start of the day.
I was like, that is what I said to her. I was like, they're never coming over. I'm never going to their
that's
house. I'm never hanging out with these blokes ever. I can't trust them after hearing that.
Yeah,
that design.
no.
Yeah, really fucked. I'm so glad that they're out there fighting for our freedom.
I think the solution to the
Al Qaeda's eating ice
Those are
cream,
the
like,
guys. Those are genuinely those are the people I want to send over there. Though.
Yeah.
I think the solution to the vacuum problem is be a better neighbour. I think you're right. I think that person it's intentional because that person
Kill them with kindness.
Yeah,
Yeah,
shit.
I, if the person was in the room that's having this issue right now, I would ask, what not's been not?
Mm-hmm.
And if you can't answer, that's your solution.
Ah, interesting.
Because I reckon that's my current situation. I live with 6 people, and so we're always the bins.
Oh, you're the bin person.
I'd vacuum bag the fuck out of all my neighbours.
Why don't you just not
Yeah.
take the bins out?
Well, because then maggots and shit.
Yeah.
The one time I didn't do it, just full of maggots.
So, like, as much as you're saying you hate them all, they love you.
Yeah, but I don't
yeah.
know.
Bin, like, they're like, fucking, how good's Pete? Yeah, how good is that round faced fella
You
that's
know
obviously
what?
going through hormone therapy at the moment to get that beard growing? Like, what a fantastic, what a fantastic bloke.
Yeah, there's a park bench in Highgate Hill that's like Peter James always took the bins out.
Big guy.
Yeah.
Big guy.
Always
That's
took the
good.
bin. Yeah, let me get a little plaque on a bin.
Garbage man.
Yeah, I think kill him with kindness. Find out the apartment. Take some cookies up.
Yeah. Or stand there when you hear him vacuuming. Stand there with a leaf blower and just blow it back up.
Yeah, or when they're on the balcony and you're downstairs, talk very loudly with your mate about how your housemate is in hospital from that massive asthma attack.
Oh yeah.
Can't figure out how
Oh
it
yeah,
happened.
or even
Can't figure out how it happened, but just I came home and he was had to go to hospital. There was a bit of dust on the floor. I don't know what happened, but
Yeah, have like a box outside your front door that's like it's just been delivered, and it just has in like pen like heaps of aspirin inhalers for someone with really bad asthma.
yeah,
Delivery.
yeah. And then if it happens again, know that cunt wants you dead.
Yeah.
Full on,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Well, I think we've done it again, boys. We've
Fantastic.
another week. Can you believe? You would think we're going to hit 1 week where we hit a crossroads and we're not able to solve a problem, but no. Once again, we're just able to get through them all. Watto, thank you very much for coming in, my
it's a
friend.
pleasure. Such a good time hanging out with two festival blokes.
Just three festival comedians
Fantastic.
hanging around, having a bit of fun. If you're understanding this reference, it keeps coming up on the podcast.
Thanks so much.
You're very welcome to keep saying it. It's very funny.
And even if you don't know the reference, bring it up with your mates. Just bring it up. Just sit around with your mates when the conversation dies and go like, "Hey, look at me, sitting around with
Just a bloke from a small town.
with the whatever the professions are in the room. Mention those.
Yeah,
Just with a couple of carpenters.
yeah. Just me
Who would've
and
thought?
2 professional accountants. Just sitting here crunching numbers. Honestly can't believe my luck. Thank you very much for listening for another week. If you live in Cairns, Laughing Out Comedy every single Monday night. Get on down. You'll see Watto
wonderful.
there. If you turn up to a Laughing Out Comedy show and Watto's not on, it means he's dead. Because
Yeah.
he's always
If
there.
you turn up to Laughing Out
Or-
Comedy and you can't see Watto, he's probably on the bottom of your shoe. And you should have looked more carefully for that little bloke when he came in.
And he's not going to be on next week because you've killed him. I don't know why I'm referring to myself in third person now.
Third person, you're barely one person. Look how small you are.
Third of.
A third of a person. Referring to yourself in a third of a person, you tiny, tiny little cunt.
It's great. I mean, the video element, I do
You look the same
a
size as me.
normal size.
But we'll put a photo up of what it looks like when you jump down off that couch, mate.
Thank you for listening to another week. We'll be back next week for another cracking episode. Can't wait to see you. Hey, and also, if you live in Brisbane, 2 more live shows for the remainder of the year. November 2nd.
Yeah.
And I'm going to say it's mid-December. I know that for a fact. And I will say this.
It'll be early December because I'm out of the country in mid-December.
I feel like it's December
12th.
I can literally tell you right now. 14.
Oh, there you go.
So
What is
one
it?
would say that's smack bang right in the middle.
Never mind, I'll go fuck myself.
Small bloke, dumb cunt, Peter James right here coming to you live. But if you're in Brisbane, we have 2 particularly massive guests.
Yeah,
on
massive. You can say it.
Big, massive. Well, I can't say for the first one.
Oh, right.
Top secret. November 2, big special international guest. And December 14th is not confirmed, but it should be good. So if you want to come and see a show with some big names, that's the place to be. Good Chat Comedy Club, November 2nd and
Check
December
the show
14th.
notes. The links will be in the show notes, and make sure you follow us on socials to keep up to date with it. And we are going to be coming back to Sydney very soon in the talks to do that again. So keep an eye on it.
I have an erection just thinking about it. Thank you very much, boys. What a wonderful hour it has been. And we'll see you next week, listeners. Kiss, kiss, kiss. Hug, hug, hug. And a hand job to you. We'll see you next week.